weapons and does declare them. But your country is in a very interesting position, torn between a very great past and a very uncertain future. Where do you see the security challenges today?
First of all, I mean, my country has always been has had an uncertain future for the last millennium and a half, at least a millennium. So I mean, I'm quite at ease with it. But I will start. I mean, we are all here on the invitation of Thierry de Montbrial, who is the most important political thinker in Europe and one of the most unorthodox one, and all of us owe him something. And I want to partially repay my debt for being invited here to speak here for the second time, and also to listen to all of you, by being even more provocative than I normally am. And I'm not known to. Not to be a plain speaker. I will tell you the plain truth. I mean, risking my reputation, but a certain unorthodox reason about my man. But at a certain age, I mean, reputation doesn't matter anymore, but friendship still matters. So first, Bob Blackwell yesterday gave a great litany of the problems we are facing. I mean, it's even larger than the Boblists. I'll start with the Bobs. At least withdrawal from Iraq, leaving the country falling apart, unstable, and a hotbed of terrorism. U.S. and NATO is losing war in Afghanistan and soon will get out. Again, leaving behind a hotbed of terrorism. Pakistan is facing a fork between dissolution or radicalism. There is no other way out. India-Pakistani problem is obvious. No hope for Israeli-Palestinian settlement unless the peace is enforced, and there is nobody to enforce it. Iran will get nuclear. The question is whether it will stop developing nuclear capacity or it will proclaim that it has a bomb. If Israel desperately attacks, we shall have a wave of instability and terrorism, an energy crisis, and a bomb 2 years later. Worse, there are no arguments left against nuclear proliferation. North Korea has got nuclear potential, not a potential, I mean several bombs actually, and is living there with impunity and will continue to survive for the time being. Even war. We of course are happy to in a bout of escapism and unwillingness to take the responsibility to blame Bush for everything in the world. But we are all to be blamed for the dismal state of affairs. Let me remind us, just to please Bob, who is a Republican and served the Bush administration with great intelligence and fervor, that Clinton, dizzy with the triumphalism of the alleged victory in the Cold War, allowed two nations to get nuclear weapons and get away with impunity. Clinton lost Russia, I mean, which was ready to join, and it was at one point in her history. And even to make things worse, it was Clinton who arranged the attack on Yugoslavia. And again, the attack went with impunity, but then the lesson was learned. And after a Iraqi repetition, no country on earth, if it is reasonable, would stop short of getting nuclear weapons just to protect her sovereignty and her people. Europeans pretending to play a role in the world, endlessly negotiated with Iranians, I mean, making them, Europeans, a laughing stock and giving Iranians, precious time to develop nuclear capacities. 5 years of the troika. We were telling our European friends, stop that, they are going, but the troika was traveling back and forth, and the Iranians were developing nuclear weapons. But now I'm going to the second part of my talk, and that is that in addition to all that, we have several security vacuums. One, which we have inherited from the past because we overlooked it conveniently, that is the huge security vacuum around Persian Gulf and in the Middle East. All countries decide, all hate each other, are afraid of each other. We haven't been doing anything to deal with this issue. We have, but now we are living through through a very strange period. We are allowing a security vacuum to be created even in Europe. After the formal end of the Cold War, the West, with polite words, behaved like a victor vis-à-vis Russia. The embodiment of that was, of course, NATO enlargement against the will of the country. There was a blatant, and I am referring to you, Quentin, blatant enlargement of one's zone of military political influence or even domination to make things worse or to add insult to injury. It was accompanied and still accompanied by the sermons about the obsolescence of the notion of the spheres of influence.